extra point with Greg Johnson. The hold will be Billy Sheen. 42-41, Oak Ridge on top of Central, and let's see what the Wildcats can do with the kick. Here's a low snap. Here's the kick. It's a block for Oak Ridge. Is in state championship ball game at Vanderbilt on a block extra point. 42-41, and Oak Ridge pandemonium reigns on the field. The Wildcats are headed to Vanderbilt. A blocked extra point. Oak Ridge celebrating. Pandemonium. Fans on the field.
Hello everyone, welcome to another award-winning edition of the Locker Room Chat. My name is John Williams and I'm joined by my co-host Walter Stair. And Walter, it's good to see you and thank you for being here.
Well, good to see you, and Tennessee is doing wonderful things these days in football.
They certainly are, and the University of Tennessee Volunteers are on top of the college football world, and wow, it's as my daughter said, it's mind-blowing.
Well, if I had been in a coma 2 years ago and I woke up last night or today and Tennessee was #1 in the country, I would think that I was not living in this world.
Right.
I mean, it happened in less than 2 years, and it's like they've been transformed. From last year, they were a pretty good football team. They were on their way back, and they were playing pretty good football. But this year, it's magical.
Yeah, it's less than 2 years ago. We were 3-7, and you know, some of the allegations hadn't really came out yet. I think they didn't really came out to that day we played Texas A&M, and the running back Eric Gray, he wasn't going to play, and that's when it first came to the public light, I believe, that there was something going on with there, something amiss.
All the McDonald's bags full of money.
But in less than 2 years, we've gone from the lowest of lows to now the highest of highs.
Yeah, I mean, I was about literally crying in that 3-7 season. I could not stand it at all. And last year I was encouraged, and this year I'm just beyond elated.
We're going to talk about the Vols tonight. Some high school football. Got the playoffs, first round coming up, Walter. But the phone lines are open. We'll talk about anything you want to talk about. So give us a call. But big game Saturday for Tennessee and Georgia. Everybody thought it was going to be 1-2. But, the college football playoff poll came out last night, and Tennessee's #1 and Georgia's #3.
Switch places. I'll take that any day of the week.
And Chandler's got the college football poll back there. You can see the top 25. It came out last night on the 13-person committee. I'm not sure who I was on that committee. I think the head of it was the athletic director at North Carolina State. I believe he had him on last night, talked to him. But you can see, the top 4 makes the playoffs, and that's what everybody is shooting for. And as you can see right there, the Vols are on top. Ohio State #2 and Georgia 3, Clemson 4. All 4 of those teams are undefeated. Michigan as well undefeated, and you have TCU there at #7 undefeated.
Exactly, and I was sort of wondering how it came about that Clemson and Michigan switched places and Georgia and Tennessee switched places, but I think it has to do with how tough a schedule we have had in comparison to Georgia. Georgia has played one significant team, and that was the very start of the year. I mean, they played okay ball teams, but we played a lot of ranked teams.
Certainly has. I think that's why Clemson jumped Michigan. Michigan's strength of schedule not too strong, and I think Alabama as well. I think that's the reason they're ahead of TCU.
Exactly.
Their schedule, they have played, maybe they passed the eye test a little bit more against playing Tennessee and some other teams that they play. TCU, though, they're undefeated. They've been, scoring a lot of points. Defensively, they've given up quite a few, I guess, like Tennessee, but I think Tennessee's defense has improved.
It's
certainly.
very much. I like the way that they are getting after it. They may not be the best yet because they're young, but I mean, they are eager and they're going after it. And I like that.
You see the rest of the poll. LSU in the top 10. They're going to play Alabama. I think Saturday night, Alabama goes to LSU.
Yeah, we hope that's going to be a big win for LSU. That would be very nice indeed. And can you look at the top 11? You have 5 Southeastern Conference teams in the top 11, and so many of these nuts on Facebook and some other places, well, they say the Southeastern Conference is not that good. Well, yeah, we actually are.
Right, and even the Pac-12, they've got 2 teams there, 8-9, Oregon, Southern Cal, 3 got UCLA in the top 12.
Yeah.
So, I know the Pac-12 was sort of taking a hit there before the season, but
yeah, they seem a little better than what I thought they would be. UCLA is definitely better than I thought they'd be.
You have Utah at 14, other Pac-12 schools, but you look on down the list, a team there is been impressive is Illinois. They have 1 loss to Indiana, but they're going to be a big player here down the stretch. I think they play Michigan here later on, and Illinois looks to be going to win their division. I'm not sure which side that is, but one of them seems to be weaker than the other. I think Ohio State and Michigan's all in one, and Penn State's over there as well. But Illinois probably play Michigan. They play, and then if they go and win that division, probably play Ohio State.
Yeah.
The winner of that Ohio State-Michigan game in the college, in their Big Ten championship. So a lot can happen, Walter. Tennessee at Georgia this week. What's your thoughts on that game?
Well, I'm thinking if we score over 30 points, we have a significant chance of winning. If we score under 30, I don't think we have much of a chance of winning.
Tennessee has scored over 30 points in so many consecutive games.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's quite a few. Tennessee's averaging 49 points a game. Georgia, they're right behind Tennessee really offensively, and in total offense, Tennessee's number 1, 550-something yards a game. Georgia's second, 530. Georgia's averaging 41 points a game. But Georgia has a strong defense. They are, I think, number 4 in total defense.
Yeah.
Got it here, right here. Let's check it out about the Bulldogs. Georgia coming in defensively, ranked 2nd nationally in scoring defense.
Oh, okay.
Georgia's also 4th in total defense, 5th in run defense, 13th in pass defense, and 2nd in red zone defense.
Oh, boy.
So, it's I sort of like to say it's the irresistible force against the immovable object.
Exactly.
But, Tennessee, I think they've scored every time they've been in the red zone this year. They're 100%.
Yeah.
I think they were going into the Kentucky game, and I think we scored every time we got in the red zone there as well.
I mean, I really believe in the big games we've been in recent times, LSU, Alabama, and Kentucky. We have played fabulous football in every way. And that Kentucky game, The way I saw Stoops get so upset continuously, he couldn't keep up because Tennessee had a guy act like he was going out of the ball game, and he went over to the far side, and he thought he had enough time to get subs into the game, and Stoops didn't, and he was, had a 15-yard penalty and went ballistic. But.
Yeah, it was a rough night for the Wildcats with their quarterback supposed to be a first-round draft choice.
And I mean, Stoops is a good coach, and he was made to not look too good.
Yeah, he had 2 weeks to prepare too. Didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's taking a little heat up there, I hear, in the Big Blue Nation.
Oh boy, they're lucky to actually have him. He's a good coach. We're quite lucky to have who we have too.
Yeah, Stoops done a good job there at Kentucky, certainly has. All right, phone lines are open, and we got a call. No, that was the fax machine. Well, we did have a call, but give us a call. You see the numbers there on the bottom of the screen. Certainly like to talk to you about the Tennessee and Georgia game coming up. And wow, let's play the what if game, Walter.
That sounds
what
good
if?
to me.
Of course, if Tennessee wins, you probably run the table, go to the SEC championship game, and more than likely play Alabama.
Exactly.
I would say LSU possibility there. The winner of that game coming up Saturday night. If Tennessee does not win, say Georgia wins, Georgia will probably go on and play for the SEC championship. Tennessee will run the table 11-1. What happens then, Walter?
That's a good question because we have strength of schedule over Alabama, over Georgia, but head-to-head we would have lost to Georgia, but we would have defeated Alabama. And if Alabama were to defeat Georgia, then that puts us probably down to 4 or 5, but it's all according to how the shuffle of the deck goes.
Yeah. If Alabama was to defeat Georgia, probably wouldn't be good for the Vols, especially if Georgia beats us head-to-head, because I don't think they're going to take 3 SEC teams to the college football playoff.
It would be very, I'd say, impossible.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the undefeated teams you have left. It would be good for Tennessee if Clemson and TCU pick up a loss here.
Exactly.
To eliminate them, pretty much, maybe. Clemson's at Notre Dame this weekend, so there's a good chance there that might happen.
That's a possibility. Even though Notre Dame's not having a great season, they can still rise to the occasion at times.
Yeah. They knocked off Syracuse last week. They were undefeated.
Sort of bizarre, but Syracuse is starting to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, Notre Dame they've been up and down this year.
Yeah.
They're a dangerous team, though. But yeah, we need one of those teams to lose, or both of them, and hopefully Tennessee takes care of business Saturday against Georgia. And then even if they did not win the SEC championship, let's say they played Alabama and lost, I think Tennessee would probably, still be in that top 4.
I think they certainly would be because of strength of schedule. And if they don't lose to Georgia very badly, if it's a very competitive game, that would help where things are concerned too. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, I can't remember his name, but the guy that is like a wide receiver, but he's big, or is he a tight end, that number 19 for Georgia, I think he's going to be a big problem in the game.
Yeah, they got 2 tight ends. I'm like you, he's really good. I can't think of his name right now.
Number 19, and plus they've got a line that they can at times play a lot of ball control football too. So.
Yeah, Georgia certainly they're number 1 in some of the polls.
Yeah.
This week, I guess the 2 AP and college polls they're number 1, but number 3 in the playoff poll. But
so I guess where it really counts on the playoff one, we're number 1. We're tied for 2 and 1 in one of the polls, and then we're 3 in one of the other polls, right?
They also have another tight end They call him Agent Zero.
Oh, okay.
I think he wears number 0. But, yeah.
But he hopes to be number 1, I guess.
Right. But they do. I can't think of that tight end's name. He's going to make a lot of money in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Georgia also, they lost a key player on defense last week.
I didn't hear about that.
Nolan Smith, I believe his name.
Oh, I've heard of that name.
Defensive end slash, I think, does a little bit of everything for him. But he's out, so they'll have to plug in another 5-star. Georgia will.
I was going to say about that. They said that, do they not have like 25 5-stars on their roster?
I wouldn't doubt it. Mm-hmm.
When I heard that, I guess it was last night, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, they're loaded, and they destroyed Oregon first game of the season.
I mean, that was bad. It was like 48 or 49 to nothing or something like that.
Yeah, and Oregon's, they're back up, and they're number 8 now in that college football playoff poll, and Bo Nix is their quarterback. Maybe Georgia and Auburn always play, so maybe they knew something on Nix, and that certainly helped going up against him. But Nix has been lights out since then. He's even getting talk in the Heisman.
Well, the thing is with Lord, I lost. Anyway, I've lost where my place was. So going right ahead. But
it's going to be a tremendous challenge for the Big Orange. This Tennessee team nothing seems to faze them really. They just go out there and play, and nobody stopped them yet. Pittsburgh's sort of slowed them down.
Yeah.
In the second half, I think Tennessee didn't score, I think, until overtime. But
Heifel, in every game he's been in, it just seems like he's got a hold of the steering wheel and just doing exactly what he needs to do. And most of these other coaches, the Florida coach, and then last week Stoops, they're going out of their mind, and he's just over there just, going right down the road, doing what he needs to do.
You got Jalen Hyatt, 14 touchdown receptions. You got Cedric Tillman. He was he wasn't 100% last week he played, but I think you'll see him more this week.
He was a fabulous decoy in the win last week.
You'll see more of him and Brew McCoy as well. But Heupel's got a lot of weapons, and they're just playing well offensively. Tennessee's averaging almost 50 points a game, and just unbelievable. It's just.
I would have never believed this. After the 3-7 year in 2020, I would have never believed this.
And here Heupel's got some more wrinkles he might throw out this week up his sleeve. He's not really showed everything, so that's something.
And you've got running backs Small and Wright who are doing quite well, and they're doing what they need to do. And he even threw a ball out to Small, and that might be another thing, throwing to running back out of the backfield, even so.
Certainly. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Give us a call. You're watching the Locker Room Chat, and we're going to talk some high school football, and we'll talk Tennessee all night long here. So give us a call. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is it's safer than being tackled by a Tennessee Titan. Give it a shot. Find a free vaccine appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
Pat Ryan here with Kathy Mae Martin. If you're thinking of buying or selling real estate, then make the right play call and contact Kathy Mae Martin for all your real estate needs. Kathy's 30-plus years of knowledge and experience gives her clients the competitive edge. Like me on game day. Kick is up and it's good. Kathy May Martin for all your real estate needs.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is East Tennessee's best choice for pre-owned vehicle sales and service. Earl Duff is a name you know and trust, and we have been meeting the automotive needs of Roane and surrounding counties for over 49 years. Shopping with us is easy, and we treat our customers like family. From sales to finance to service, we're your one-stop shop for everything automotive. Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
I am Dr. Jan Hahn, and I am running for House District Seat 32. I am a fiscal conservative and a social moderate. You don't take money from people who don't have it, and you don't spend money that you don't have. No government can tell me what I can or cannot do in the privacy of my home. We face common problems and must solve them together. I am a fresh face with new ideas and a different way.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
Football is back, and OAB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense. Call OAB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Welcome back into the locker room chat. We're going to talk some high school football, and also before we get into that, Walter, I'd like to mention the Anderson County girls and boys cross-country team are in the state tournament tomorrow. I think it starts in Hendersonville.
Wonderful.
And last week, girls and boys for Anderson County finished in second in the region.
Great.
So congratulations to Anderson County girls and boys cross-country. Head coach Derek Wallace, and mentioned some of these individuals. For the girls, had Ava Moody, and she is one of three in the top 10 for the Lady Mavericks, and she finished second overall in the 5K. Also, Caitlin Fisher finished third, all region as well, and Marley Caldwell also all region. Some of the other girls on the team, Emily Boring, Caroline Sperling, we had her in last week. The girls soccer team, you know, and she filled in. She filled in last week for Anderson County. One of the top runners, Megan Hare. She was injured and couldn't participate, so Caroline Sperling jumped in and right off the soccer field finished 34th place. But she's going to the state. Haley Braden, also Morgan Lindsay. And on the boys' side, Vance Laster finished in 9th place. Connor Chandler was in 11th. And also some of the other runners for Anderson County boys, Ben Klotfelter, Ryan Basford, Ethan Bolton, Toby Day, and Jackson Taylor. So Anderson County girls and boys in the state. Also Oak Ridge as well. Oak Ridge girls and boys, I think, are in the state as well. So
okay. And also Bearden in soccer won the TSSAA Girls AAA State Championship in Chattanooga 3-1 on Saturday as they defeated Houston, and it capped off an unbeaten 24-0 season.
Wow, yeah, they're number one in the country, aren't they, Bearden?
Yeah, doing good.
And there's no, going back to football, no OEB Law game of the week this week. Once football playoffs start, TSSAA starts charging to view the game or film the game or carry it. And what, you got some information on that for Oak Ridge?
Matter of fact, David Clary was talking about that on Facebook and said that he was taking donations for the ball game for the shut-ins and people that can't come to the game, where he could stream it, and he needs $750 to do that. So,
what do you think about that?
I think that's way too much. I know back in the day that we did the broadcast, went to the state championships, Clinton in 1992 and Powell in 1991. We paid $150 down there, and then the state championship of the girls of Clinton 1991, that was also $150. But I guess
that was just to do it on the radio.
Yeah, just to broadcast.
Huh.
And so I guess they, have to make money somehow. But I don't know. It shouldn't be at our expense when we're trying to do a public service in a lot of respects.
Like hometown radio stations,
Exactly.
are just covering their team. And I know this past winter in March, Anderson County girls, and it was $250 just to carry their games, just in the district. If you want to.
Oh my goodness.
District game, you wanted to carry it. It was $250 just, to stream it.
Exactly.
So, pretty expensive, and just TSSAA. That's why they got them dollar signs there in the TSSAA right there.
I guess
that's what
true.
those S's stand for, I guess, as well. So,
dollar sign.
Yeah. We got a call here. Let's take it. You're on the locker room chat. Go ahead, caller.
Well, hello, guys. How are y'all tonight?
Doing good.
Oh, doing good. How you doing? How you doing, Steve?
Well, I'm doing very well. I just first I want to ask you: does your audience know that you and I, John, are brothers?
They do now, I guess.
Okay. Well, the reason I say that is because, and first of all, I want to say it's an honor to be on this show. And Walter, I don't think John's got enough orange on.
Well, I knew Walter was going to wear orange, and I didn't want to get too much, if there's such a thing as too much orange. So
there's never enough.
I just wore this in '98. It feels like '98, so I dug this thing out.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good choice, John. I just wanted to call in and say a couple of things. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who want to call in tonight and talk about the volunteers. In my lifetime, I just want to say this. My first memory of knowing what was going on as far as the Tennessee Vols were concerned was probably about the year John was born. That was in the early 60s.
Mm-hmm. Don't give out my age.
61 or 62.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, John.
That's all right.
I think, all three of us here are in the same age bracket, but I was in about 10 years old. My brother was born, and I remember my first memories of Tennessee football players are Mellon Faircloth and Glenn Glass. And when Tennessee played in the Neyland Stadium, and back then they still had the horseshoe, and so that's where how far back my memories go. And so I say all that to say this. In my lifetime, I have never experienced such a surprising season as we're having this year. And that's the word I was thinking today. We're not the most decorated yet, but we could be if we finish out and win, the championship. But no matter what happens from this point forward, this has got to be the most surprising and rewarding season that we have had on the Hill. I know it is in my lifetime, and so anyway, would you all agree that this is the most surprising season we've had.
I would certainly agree, Walter.
Yeah, it's by far the most surprising ever. I mean, the year we won the national championship, '98, it was building, and it was building that we were right there, and we were quite good in those years leading up to that with Peyton Manning and things like that. But I mean, this here came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just sort of, it came out of nowhere, like Tennessee wasn't even ranked at the beginning of the season, right outside the top 25. And, you know, you see every year you'll see a team like Tennessee seem like jumped up there, and like last year it was Cincinnati, and, you know, you've had some other teams over the years, you know, not expected to crash the party, but Tennessee is certainly, I mean, you know, they're just taking college football by storm right now, and it's just amazing. It's just hard to, you know, wrap your head around it.
Yeah,
and
it's almost
you
like
know, and you know, let me say, and now we got to go to Georgia. You know, they're defending champs, and you know, wow, you know, it's just it's right out there for the Vols.
It's almost like a dream season. And in a way, and I was thinking today, too, that, you know, our baseball team had such a great year all the way through the regular season pretty much, and one of the most memorable baseball seasons and exciting seasons I can remember, and we didn't get to the World Series. It's very possible that we won't make it to the national championship game, but you know, and we got a tough game in Athens between the hedges coming up. We're capable of winning that ball game. I just hope that Tennessee goes in there and plays their best, and win or lose, I think no matter what happens, and if we do lose to Georgia, I think it'll be the only loss we have this year, and we'll still have a chance to get to the playoffs, the college playoffs. The worst thing that can happen, and I think John mentioned this, I think would be that we lose to Georgia and then Alabama goes on and beats Georgia in the SEC championship game. I don't think that the college playoffs will take 3 teams from the SEC. So, and there's no guarantee that Alabama is going to make it to the SEC championship game. You know?
No, they've had some close wins already this year, a couple, and no guarantee for the Tide.
If they had 3 teams from the Southeastern Conference, it would short circuit either Michigan or Ohio State, whichever one wins them, because they would go crazy.
And if Tennessee does not play well against Georgia, say lose by a big margin, that would hurt as well. So if we go down there and it's a close game and come out on the short end, you know, that's not really going to hurt them that much, I don't believe, in the committee's eyes.
Well, that's the way I see it, too. So I'm not really trying to get to embracing myself either way, because this has been, like I said, the most surprising and exciting season in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
as a Tennessee fan. And so with that said, I'm just going to enjoy it, and hopefully Tennessee will come out on top, or at least make a really good showing like they have been doing here in the last few weeks.
Yeah, Tennessee's is playing with house money right now. I mean, nobody thought we'd be right here, and they have nothing to lose, really. I mean,
right.
Go down there and play, and, you know, I think this team's loose. I heard Heath Schuler on Monday morning quarterback on Sports Animal. He said his son, Navy Schuler, plays for Tennessee, and he asked his son, what do you think about the Kentucky game? He said, Dad, we're going to blow them out. We're going to blow them out. And Heath was like, he said, my son is one of the most level-headed people he knows, you know. But he said, son, really? And he said, yeah, Dad, we're going to blow Kentucky out. I mean, and sure enough, they did. And this team has just got a lot of confidence right now. And, you know, Eric Ainge even come out, and I don't know if that's too good to say, but he said it's playing between the hedges is overrated. And so I'm sure Georgia's got a lot of bulletin board material, you know, especially with college football playoff poll coming out and Tennessee's #1. So I'm sure, you know, there'll be a raucous environment there in Athens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, you know, I heard Jason Swain today on his radio show, former ball Jason Swain, say, and he had talked to some of the players before they had the rankings last night, and excuse me, after the rankings, and he had talked to some of the Tennessee players, and he said that they're not looking really at that #1 ranking at all. It's a business trip. I mean, it's just like every game they played this year, they have gone into it with confidence, and they're not. They're humble, but yet they're confident, and they play that way. And Jason said he got from talking to some of the players that they were. It was, you know, just like a business trip. We got to go down there and take care of business. And,
right, sort of reflection of Coach Heupel. He's pretty much even keel when you talk to him. Even after each game, you know, well, we're just, you know, we're going to go back to work this week and work on this, work on that, practice, and try to get better. But they don't seem to get too high. Coach Heupel don't, and he's pretty even keel.
And I thought what was amazing, they played your LSU game, played your Alabama game in Kentucky, and then even a game with UT Martin when you don't have to be quite as sharp. They were quite good in every last one of those games.
Yeah, they come out against UT Martin and just took care of business, and that's what you want to see. You know.
Exactly.
There was no letdown at all.
right. Well, you know, let me say this before getting off here, but I've been really impressed with Coach Heupel. He just comes across to me as very down to earth, a really solid football coach who gets along with the players in a way that's that he couldn't do it any better. You know, I mean, I think he loves it here in Rocky Top. I think he often has mentioned how much he and his family like it here, and you know, he's really made a believer out of me. I tell you what, we have really got us a good head football coach over there at Tennessee now, and no matter what happens, I mean, I think that guy's going to be here for a long time.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I'm sure Oklahoma's, you know, thinking, you know, gosh, one of our former players, and you know,
oh yes,
look what he's doing.
Heisman runner-up.
Look what he's doing at Tennessee, and I don't know what would happen if Oklahoma came calling. I don't know, but
well, let's hope that's a long time in the future.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee's got everything that Oklahoma has and more, I think. So it's all right here.
Well, he's left us a blueprint of what a head coach needs to be like, and if by some chance Coach Heupel did go to Oklahoma, just like Johnny Majors did come back from Pittsburgh to Tennessee, Danny White, our athletic director, is not going to Oklahoma, and he knows what the blueprint has on it, and I'm sure he can go out and find us a coach very similar to Josh Heupel. That's just my thinking. I hope Coach Heupel doesn't go anywhere, but we can't control that. And any coach ought to know that Tennessee football and Rocky Top, I mean, with our fan base, this has got to be one of the best places a coach would want to be.
It is the best.
Right. It don't get any better.
Don't get any better. No, that. Hey, y'all want to talk any more about high school playoffs?
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Where are you at this Friday?
Well, since I work at the Knoxville Focus, we have a certain coverage area, and we'll be covering one of the Knox County teams, and I'm gonna cover the Gibbs team. They're playing Granger High School over it, and they're playing at Fulton this week. So we're also going to be staffing Bill Howard. You know Bill, he's going to be staffing the Farragut game.
Farragut and Jeff County.
Yeah.
What's some of the, Steve, you've been covering high school sports for a long time. I think 50 plus years probably. Probably the dean of high school sports reporters. And what's some of the big games this week, would you say, across the area? I know the first round there's a lot of matchups that are not really going to be supposed to be that close of outcome, but what games this week stick out to you?
Well, that's a good question, John. I think you probably hit the nail on the head. First round playoff games, unfortunately, there's not too many competitive games. You know, you got Ooltewah 1-9 coming in to play at Powell.
I don't understand how that happens. I don't know how you can be 1-9 and play in the playoffs. I just don't think that should be right.
Yeah, well, I don't either, Walter, and I for a long time have thought it's too watered down, but it's the way it is, and you know, I guess the game I'm going to, I think both teams, Gibbs is 6-4 and Granger is 6-4, and I certainly looked at that, and when they're playing at Fulton, pretty close to where I live, I thought, well, that'd be a good game for me to cover, although I don't know anything about Granger other than the record. But John, to answer your question, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any game on the schedule that I thought is really going to be like a really dogfight, you know, or anything like that.
Right. Speaking of dogs, and I know you cover mostly Knoxville schools. What about Bearden at Dobbins Bennett? I think that game up there, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that's a good point, John. That's a very intriguing game. Josh Jones, in his first year as a head coach at Bearden High School, has led the Bulldogs to a 6-4 season, and has lost and has played a very tough schedule, and has some of those 4 losses have been to some very good teams. Of course, last week against Farragut. But Josh, I've known Josh for a long time. He started out cutting his teeth on youth football at the Baby Falcons, and just eventually got into the high school coaching a few years ago at CAK as offensive coordinator, and then went from there to Powell as the offensive coordinator, and now is the head coach at Bearden High School.
He was at Fulton too, somewhat.
He didn't coach any at Fulton High School, but he was coaching like their youth. Their middle school, the middle school program.
Right.
We don't in Knox County. We don't really have a middle school teams in football, but we have a really strong middle school youth football program, and he coached in that recreation program with the Falcons for many years.
Right, and Dobbins Bennett, you know, they lost last week to Science Hill, big rivalry up there, and it knocked the Indians down to number 2. You know, Bearden's traveling up there. That's going to be a really, really good game, I think.
I think I have that as a surprise win for Bearden, actually.
I think you guys are right on it. I think that may be the game of the week. I'd like to be at that game, but it's a good ways away. So I thought the game I've got, Granger and Gibbs, ought to the vault section 4. So maybe that might be a good game too.
I think Ray County at Oak Ridge. That's a good matchup. Even though Ray County's 2-8, they play a tough schedule, and there's a lot of history there with Ray County and Oak Ridge playing each other in the playoffs. I saw Ray County defeat Oak Ridge. I think T. Higgins was a senior. They came up here and won at Blankenship, and I think that's a good matchup there. Keep an eye on that game as well.
Yeah, that's an exception to the rule on a 2-8 team. Ray County has played a lot of good teams.
Mm-hmm. Certainly have. Elizabethton and Anderson County.
Yeah.
And they opened up with Alcoa.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Alcoa. That's a good point. Yeah, Alcoa. So, yeah, their strength of schedule's pretty high.
Oh, yes.
Ray County, I saw them play last year against Carnes at Ray County, and Ray County runs that wing T offense, and
yeah, they run it well.
Coach Pemberton has been running the wing T for a long time, and then after they eliminated Carnes after a great season Carnes had last year, and then they came to Powell, and then Powell put it on Ray County. Last year.
Yeah, that's tough to defend. You don't see it, and then they eat up the clock on that, and they about did that to Anderson County. Kept the ball away from them, and Anderson County had a great comeback to win that game. But certainly, Coach Pemberton's a really good coach. And
yeah, he has. He won a state championship at Catholic High School, and he's a good man and an excellent coach. And but I think, and just I haven't seen him play, but just in results over the year, this season, and Oak Ridge is starting to come on a little bit. I think, in playing at home, I think Oak Ridge should win that ball game tomorrow night by at least 2 touchdowns.
Right, Oak Ridge has got a really good running game, and so I sort of think that'll be the difference.
But John, I'm not too good on picking games. Me and you talked last week, and just on the phone, and we were talking about Oak Ridge versus Campbell County, and you said I said, well, I'll take Campbell County, and you said you were taking Oak Ridge. Walter was taking Oak Ridge, and I said, I don't care. Campbell County's had a pretty good year. I'm taking Campbell County. Okay, and what was the final score, John?
Pretty bad.
Oak Ridge won by how much?
Yeah, 41-6.
Yes.
So that shows you how much I know.
She was right on. He was right on Carnes over Clinton. I think me and Walter, we went with Clinton,
exactly.
And Carnes.
Y'all were going with your heart on that one.
Well, I thought Clinton could win that game. Carnes was ready. I think Carnes had an open date coming in, and they wanted a little payback from last year when Bishop was held about 80 yards, and they started fast, and it continued. It was Clinton's defense sort of second half of the season sort of disappeared, and Bishop just ran wild.
Hey, how good did Bishop look last week against Carnes, John? I've only seen Carnes play once this year, and that was when they played out at Powell.
Well, he looked really good. Had an 80-yard touchdown run, a couple 60-yarders, and 368 total yards in the game. He looked, I wish Tennessee would have got on him a little bit harder. I know Coach Heupel, they recruited him, but, I think Bishop said that Coastal Carolina really came on really strong on him. Coach Jamie Chadwell there, and
he wants to be a little bit near the beach, I guess.
Yeah, he Coastal Carolina recruited him, and you got to honor that. I guess young man wants to go there and play.
Yeah.
But man, I wish Tennessee could have got him.
It would have been great.
Put him in that Heupel offense.
Right. Well, he's committed, but he hadn't signed yet. Who knows?
Right.
I like you. I'd love to see Deshaun play at Tennessee, and I kind of got the feeling that, during that recruiting process back, over the past year, that Tennessee kind of weren't as strong and how much they wanted Deshaun. That was my feeling. I could be all wrong, but it seemed like they kind of backed off just a little bit enough for other schools to get in on him. And so I've wondered, and if I get a chance to talk to Deshaun, I'd like to talk just to see if there's any chance if Tennessee did get back into the picture at the last minute.
Yeah, they could. That Auburn position is open. I've heard Coach Chadwell name mentioned there. So who knows?
Coaching change involving Coach Chadwell, that could open the door up for Deshaun to change his mind. And I'd love to see him wearing orange. We don't get too many players out of Knoxville that get to, play at Tennessee like that. And
no, we don't. We had Reggie Cobb and, Leroy went to Penn State.
Yeah.
But Bishop's one of the, certainly you know more than I know. He's probably, where would you rank him in Knoxville running backs?
Well, I'd rank him right up there with Reggie and Leroy. And let me tell you guys one more thing, and then I'll get off of here. You mentioned my long career as a prep writer, and you're exactly right. I think I first started in 1967 with the Clinton Courier. And but what I was going to say is Leroy Thompson, I covered him when I was at the Knoxville Journal, 1986. And that was Leroy's seniors. 85 was his senior season. But I tell you, this is how much change there's been as far as media. I covered Leroy, quite heavily, obviously, because he was ranked the number one running back in the nation. He invited me. He was being recruited by Joe Paterno at Penn State, and in February of 1986, it's when Coach Paterno came to Leroy's house, apartment where he lived there in East Knoxville, and I was the only media person there in the home, in Leroy's home, when Joe Paterno was there. And I can still remember Coach Paterno playing a game of hearts, the card game Hearts with Leroy. And so isn't that something? I mean, can you imagine being the only reporter there in that meeting, that recruiting visit from Coach Paterno with Leroy Thompson?
Well, that's hard to believe, ain't it? And you think there's been a lot of media there, but that's quite the honor for you. And I'm certainly, Leroy had a lot of respect for you to invite you into his home, and that's certainly a special memory right there.
Yes, it is. Well, guys, I've taken enough of your time, and it's good talking to you. And
all right, Steve, call back.
Yeah, take care, Steve.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another break. We'll be right back. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Football is back. And OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OAB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring a full and fair settlement. Call OAB Law 865-546-1111 and turn your wreck into a check.
We should never lose sight of our health. To keep moving forward, let's not forget everything we've learned. Limit the salty food options. Make your own daily exercise routine. And always receive regular checkups. More than anything, we have learned how important these small steps can make a big difference, so we can all continue to move forward together.
On-site care, now located in Kingston, is accepting new patients. Nurse practitioner Candace Templeton has over 25 years of healthcare experience in offering management of chronic care conditions. On-site care offers free sports physicals for established patients. Plus, on-site care offers hormone replacement therapy with compounded pellets. On-site care accepts most major insurance plans and offers affordable self-pay options as well. Call 865-285-9588 to schedule an appointment at On-Site Care.
Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman is East Tennessee's best choice for pre-owned vehicle sales and service. Earl Duff is a name you know and trust, and we have been meeting the automotive needs of Roane and surrounding counties for over 49 years. Shopping with us is easy, and we treat our customers like family. From sales to finance to service, we're your one-stop shop for everything automotive. Don't settle for less with your next pre-owned vehicle purchase. Come to Earl Duff Pre-Owned Center in Harriman or online at duffpreowned.com.
I am Dr. Jan Hahn, and I am running for House District Seat 32. I am a fiscal conservative and a social moderate. You don't take money from people who don't have it, and you don't spend money that you don't have. No government can tell me what I can or cannot do in the privacy of my home. We face common problems and must solve them together. I am a fresh face with new ideas and a different way.
Roane Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roane Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roane Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roane Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roane Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Welcome back into the locker room, Chad, and Walter's got some good information here. What do you call that game? East Tennessee?
All-Stars, East Tennessee All-Star game.
That's the game. That Mark Packer come up with that and sort of put it together.
Exactly.
And last year, they play at Oak Ridge, and it's Knoxville All-Stars against the surrounding counties.
Exactly.
And Walter's got some of the names of the players from East Tennessee that's going to be participating
from our general vicinity, except
when is this game?
I think that is
in December, ain't it? Yeah, I guess it'd be after
early December,
after the playoffs. Yeah,
somewhere around December 8th or sometime like that. Jace Dobbins out of Jefferson County, Brendan Pearson out of Oak Ridge, Gavin Noe out of Anderson County on the defensive line, Mason Hatfield on defense. Eli Davis out of Anderson County. You've got so many that are from Anderson County.
Hatfield from Kingston. Okay.
Exactly. Will Lester out of Campbell County. Brian Kelly out of Oak Ridge. Jermaine Allen out of Anderson County. Elijah Rogers out of Oak Ridge. Barrett Maddox out of Clinton as an offensive lineman. Braden Burgess out of Cofield, offensive line. Lucas May out of Anderson County. Bryson Val, wide receiver, Anderson County. Mason Shanks out of Campbell County. Devon Jones out of Campbell County. Cameron Campbell out of Harriman. And Lucas Kendall out of Clinton. And also Hundley out of Oak Ridge. And Dakota Jolly out of Rockwood. And Walker Martinez out of Anderson County at quarterback. So they've got a fine contingent out of Anderson County in particular, and Oak Ridge, and of course Clinton, and really some others, but Anderson County dominates the situation, I guess, being 10-0.
Certainly. It seems like I heard Davey Gillum's going to be the head coach, but I'm not sure on that.
He'll have a lot of his players if that's the case.
Right.
So.
Maybe he can call in. Somebody call in and let us know that on the coaches. Last year, Joe Gaddis, in his last year, he coached East Tennessee, and I think Clark Duncan coached
Which was his last year.
So, yeah, it's a special. That's a good thing they do there. I remember watching it last year on TV, and it was a cold night. I believe it was snowing a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, all right, let's take a quick look at last week, Walter. Some of the games. In week 11, start out with Farragut, big win over Bearden. Give Farragut the number 2 seed and send Bearden on the road.
Yeah, I thought that'd be a good game, and it actually was. And Farragut really overall did better than I thought they would. I knew they'd be a good ball team, but they just kept winning and winning and winning.
Yeah, they were a dangerous team. I wouldn't want to play Farragut.
No, I wouldn't either.
Maybe look for them to meet Maryville probably in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Old Chris, we talked earlier with my brother, big winners over Campbell County, big margin, 41-6. They just went up there and destroyed Campbell County.
Them big time.
Greenback got a big win over Oakdale, 20-14.
Yeah, you forecasted that one. I didn't see that one coming.
Well, yeah, shot in the dark, I guess, came through. It was a close game. That gave Greenback the 3 seed and Oakdale number 4.
Right.
They'll be going to Cloudland. The game played last Thursday. Daniel Boone 21, Hampton 20. Hampton was number 1 in 2A. Daniel Boone in the top 5 in 5A.
Exactly.
And Daniel Boone won by 1 point, so that was a great game. Hall we both missed this one. Hall's 42, Heritage 20.
That just flat out blew my mind because Heritage has been getting so much better, and then Hall's is now in the playoffs 2-8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was surprising. It was Carnes 50, Clinton 28, and that gave Carnes the 3 seed in the playoffs. They'll be going to Walker Valley.
Yeah, I think Carnes will end up getting that against Walker Valley.
And Clinton, just a disappointing season, 5-5, but played the teams, tough teams, close. Just some of those losses early in the year, I think, just took a lot out of them.
Well, up until the last week, they had lost 4 games by a total of 24 points, and then of course the last game, difficulty against Carnes, and they got their offense rolling,
But they got a lot coming back, so they should be loaded for Bear next year.
Yeah.
Carter 72, Fulton 54.
You sure they weren't playing basketball?
He might have been. Well, I don't know if Jody Wright beat that bad, but he's pretty loaded this year.
Well, now you're right on that. Jody Wright probably wouldn't get beat like that, but
that's
maybe the other way around or something.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It was number 1 West 44, Central 3.
Well, West is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Certainly are. We didn't get to talk about that last week. They defeated Maryville. And
exactly.
First win by a Knoxville school over Maryville since 2000.
Since the turn of the century or whatever.
They beat Maryville and Alcoa. So, wow.
Now that's something.
Yeah. Special team there at West. It was Loudon 23, Kingston 14, knocking the Yellow Jackets out of the playoffs.
I was sorry to see that. Kingston, we followed them a whole lot. I was sorry to see them out of the playoffs. But.
Yeah. Coach Pankey, and we had them in here in the studio. I don't think they won a game after they were here, Walter. It's sort of surprising, what happened to the Yellow Jackets down the stretch there. It was Oliver Springs 28-17 over Midway. So the Bobcats even 5-5 on the season and get that number 2 seed.
Well, they really turned themselves around.
They got the 2 seed.
That's nice.
They're at home for Coach Tyler Harper's first year with the Bobcats. Cofield 42-0 over Oneida. Pretty impressive win. for Cofield.
Cofield steamrolls, and they should steamroll Friday night also.
You don't see Old Nida getting beat that bad very often.
No, not usually. They usually a pretty good football team.
Yeah. Big game there. GP 21, Pigeon Forge 20. Tigers about got the upset on Gatlinburg-Pittman.
Yeah, that's some true arch rivals right there.
Yeah.
And Pigeon Forge, I think, is a pretty good football team. Gatlinburg certainly is they're now 9-1 record. But.
It was Dobbins Bennett losing to Science Hill 34-32. Well, that sounds like a really good game there at Steve Spurrier Field.
Good old Steve Spurrier Field.
Or stadium, or one of them, yeah.
he's something else, I tell you.
Big win there for the Hilltoppers. That's another big rival. It was AC 56-13 over Scott. No surprise there.
None whatsoever. You wouldn't like it if it was your school, but at 9-0 playing an 0-9 team, you almost shouldn't even have that happen. But.
And the Mavericks, 6 straight years undefeated in region play.
Goodness gracious.
And they're primed. They're primed to go to Chattanooga.
Yes.
That's the only thing they're lacking, to get there and win that gold ball.
And probably would be playing prognostication-wise Greenville.
Yep. Elizabethan probably winner of that Carter game in the second round. Then Greenville, that big green elephant in the room, That's what they got to get past.
That's it, exactly.
If they do that, could be in Chattanooga. I know Maverick Nation is desperately wanting that. So,
oh, yes.
It was Sweetwater over McMinn Central 24-17, giving the Wildcats the region championship.
Yeah, they played pretty good football season long.
Yeah, 8-2. Monterey 35-2 over Wartburg. It was York. This score was surprising too. 32-0 over Rockwood. We both missed this one. We thought Rockwood might go in there and win.
I thought Rockwood would get this and go on from there, but well, that really caught me flat-footed.
Especially the score. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That surprised me. York's got a good team, certainly. They're 7-3, but that margin of victory.
Yes.
It was Red Boiling Springs 47-13 over Sunbright. And Walter, did you ever figure out where Red Bowling Springs is?
No, I really don't. I asked my wife, I said, I've never heard of such a place, Red Bowling Springs.
I think you go down to Athens, down that way, or Spring City, and turn right and keep on trucking.
Oh, okay. Is it towards Dayton somehow?
Yeah, somewhere down there.
Okay.
Then you go up there in the mountains somewhere, I believe.
Boy.
I don't know.
where those revenuers go.
Over the mountain and through the woods.
Yes.
Stone Memorial with the big win over DeKalb County, 29-28.
I mean, I just keep thinking, although I should know DeKalb County I would think that's DeKalb County out of Georgia, but I guess that's the great state of Tennessee. But
and it was Powell 28, Lenore City 21.
Lenore City's on their way back.
I wonder how much players they got coming back.
I think they were relatively young from what I got.
Going to Red Bowling Springs that way.
You're what now?
Red Bowling Springs is in Macon County.
Oh, it's in Macon County.
Macon County.
Northwest of Gainesboro.
Okay.
Northwest of Gainesboro. Tell me Gainesboro. I don't even know where that is.
Right. Near Cookville.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I went to school one year there.
It's near the Kentucky-Tennessee line.
Oh, okay.
If you look at Salina, it's west of Salina. You know where Salina is?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I know it was up there on the border. Yeah.
Okay. We're getting a geography lesson here.
Right. Let's just look at some of the scores from last week. And Chandler's throw up them first-round playoff matchups. First-round playoff matchups. Yeah, I think we can see them pretty good. hopefully you can see them here at home. We'll go over them. This is Class 1A. And we're playing for the Blue Cross Bowl. And you can see there on the left up top, Cloudland and Oakdale. Oakdale, they went there last year and lost in the second round. Cloudland had their way with them 60-16 last year. So Coach J.R. Voles of the Oakdale Eagles going up to Cloudland on Roan Mountain looking for some payback.
Cloudland is a very good football team, which Oakdale actually year in, year out is too, but Cloudland seems like they have some big fellas.
Oakdale, has come on strong here the last 2 years in the playoffs. Last year getting to host a playoff game. First time in school history. And Oliver Springs there in Oliver Springs and Cosby. The Bobcats at home for that one. It's a big game there at DJ Britton Field.
Yeah, I think that will be a good one. I think Oliver Springs may very well make it to the second round after an 0-4 start to start the year. So.
Mm-hmm. Greenback and Unaka. Also, North Green and Cofield. This, Cofield's number 1 seed. North Green number 4. North Green lost last year 58-0 to Cofield. So
I think that'll be very similar again this time.
1 and 9.
Yeah.
1 and 9, as Brad said. North Green Huskies.
I don't think that should happen. I really don't. Which is a way. I mean, I don't really get. You probably should win at least 2 region games to make it into a playoff to me, but that's.
Do you know there's 47 teams with a losing record in the playoffs?
Oh, goodness gracious.
There's a 20.4% of the teams. There's a total of 230 teams in the playoffs, 20% of them losing a record.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So it's sort of watered down. That's what you get.
Well, I in particular don't like the 1 and 9 and 2 and 8s. I just don't like.
And there's 15 teams undefeated. So
now that's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. What else we got there, Chandler? We got 2A. Oneida. We got to travel to Hampton.
That's going to be probably a rough night for Oneida.
Monterey with the 2 seed, hosting Happy Valley. Rockwood on the road to South Green. It's not been too kind for them. South Green eliminated Rockwood in 2019 and 2020. South Green had a pretty good quarterback in those years. And Cumberland Gap's traveling to York Institute to play the Dragons.
Cumberland Gap last week, I know from area that I covered previously, Claiborne up there. Claiborne had their way with them. It blew my mind. It was like 60-something to 7, and they normally have a very big rivalry sort of game. So I don't know if Cumberland Gap is having a rough year or what, because Claiborne's not very loaded. And so I'd say York Institute will probably put it to them.
Definitely. Go up to 3A. Austin East Roadrunners traveling to the Black Hole to take on the Chucky Doak Black Knights, who are 9-1.
That blows my mind, because back, particularly in the 1990s and early 2000s, Chucky Doak was lucky to win 2 or 3 ball games a year. And here in recent times, they apparently have got it back together. I'm glad to see that.
Look at some of those other matchups there out of that Region 1, or excuse me, Region 2. Alcoa there on the bottom. Chucky Doak may be the only Region 1 team to get a win.
Yeah, because Unicoi County, I'm wondering how you can end up 3rd in your region and be 8-2 overall. That's sort of weird against number 2 seed Gatlinburg Pittman, which is 9-1 overall. That's That's an unusual
it's
situation.
pretty good records there for those three teams.
Yeah.
9-1, 8-2, and 8-2. Yeah. I sort of look at it though. I sort of checking their schedule out. Strength of schedule not too strong.
Oh, okay.
Let's go up to Class 4A. Here's where it gets interesting. Fulton's got to travel to Greenville.
They are capable, but they're not that capable.
Yeah, maybe it'd been a great matchup about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, Fulton had, or maybe longer now. Now Fulton has some really good teams.
Oh yes.
Back in the day, a little bit, not too far back. Gibbs and Granger squaring off.
I'd say Gibbs has the edge on that. Granger's still trying to up and come. Gibbs has got a pretty good schedule that they play.
Carter Elizabeth, that'll be that's a good matchup there. I think be some points scored in that game.
Exactly. Elizabethton has played a very tough schedule, and so has Carter.
Yeah, Carter's dangerous team. Seymour and Anderson County. Anderson County defeated Seymour last year in the first round, 39-21. So I think the Mavericks won't have any problem here over the Eagles of Seymour.
That should be a big win for Anderson County.
Go up to 5A. You see there Daniel Boone, number 1 in their region, while Knoxville West, number 1 in their region. And those games in the middle will be competitive games. I think that Sevier County and Morristown West game. Sevier County, yeah, they've lost the last couple games.
They fizzled out a little bit towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they lost to Cott County last week. So
they did what? I didn't even know that.
Right, they lost to Cott County.
Cott County is not very good.
Right, so I don't know what's going on there with Sevier County. But, in Central and Tennessee High, Bristol, that'd be a good matchup there in Fountain City. Should be.
Oh yes.
And Halls, that big win over Heritage, going up to Daniel Boone, take on the undefeated Trailblazers.
They'll probably just be happy they're in the playoffs and 2-8 and get an extra game. So.
Yeah, it's good to be in the playoffs, ain't it? That's what you shoot for. Even those teams got to be excited. If you're 2-8, or you're in the playoffs, you're playing, you're practicing, it's always exciting to be in the playoffs.
And it'll help for the next year. So.
Certainly. Get that extra week. 6A playoffs. More 5A. Powell, number 1. McMinn County on that other bracket, number 1. Wow. What do you think about these matchups?
And you've got Ottawa at 1-9. I don't know how that sort of thing happens, and just shake my head at it. But particularly 1-9 or 2-8, which Halls actually played into it, I guess, winning the last week. I guess that's how it worked out. But Ottawa just has to win one ball game to make the playoffs. It's definitely different.
And Walker Valley's playing Carnes, so not McMinn Central. Carnes goes to Walker Valley, and they played last year. I actually went to that game, and Carnes won 27-25. So this year Carnes is going down to Bradley County and play Walker Valley. And Ray County's coming up here to play Oak Ridge. I may have to go check that game out.
That could be a real good game. I think it'll be competitive. I think Oak Ridge will probably win, just as your brother said, but I think it'll be a close one.
Yeah. And Campbell County's going down to McMinn County, and the Cherokees in McMinn County, they're pretty stout.
Yeah, I think Campbell County will try their best to pass the ball as they have all season long, but I think they'll have a similar ending just to the Oak Ridge game.
Yeah, and you look at round 2 there, Oak Ridge would have to travel to McMinn County and possibly Carnes at Powell. So that'd be some good matchups right there.
It certainly would be.
All right, 6A. Science Hill, the number 1 seed out of Region 1. While Maryville's number 1 seed out of Region 2. And we talked about that Bearden-Dobbins-Bennett game. And that Farragut-Jefferson County game should be a competitive game as well. But the Admirals are at home. They're pretty tough.
Yeah, exactly. I think Farragut will probably win this, but it'll be a good one. I've even got some cousins that play on Jefferson County. I guess it's a second cousin. Last name Overton, but
yeah, it's a second round matchup, either Bearden or DB taking on Maryville. That'd be a good game.
And Science Hill, the fact that they won when they needed to be number 1 in their region, that's a tribute to their football team and beating Dobbins-Bennett last week.
Certainly. Yeah, that keeps them out of Maryville's bracket, at least to the 3rd round, don't it?
Exactly.
Okay. Got about 10 minutes left in the show, and Walter, we can go ahead and make our picks unless you have anything else.
Yeah, that sounds good. But the one last thing I was going to say on Tennessee is I saw a thing concerning former Heisman Trophy winners and runner-ups. Heisman Trophy winners and runner-ups that went on to be college football coaches over the last 50 years. And there was only 2 prominent coaches that are previous coaches. That was Steve Spurrier and Johnny Majors, and they both, of course, did pretty darn well coaching-wise. Both have national championships. And the next one down of any consequence is the one we have at Tennessee, Josh Heupel.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought of that.
And that's pretty amazing. And Heupel, I think it was around 2000 or thereabouts that he was runner-up in the Heisman.
What about Hendon Hooker? He's Tennessee's quarterback. He's number 1 right now in the Heisman race. He's projected to win.
I see that as certainly a possibility if we do everything right, but I just don't know the way the national news media is. They don't overly like Tennessee, and they sort of skew towards the Ohio State type people.
Yeah, you got C.J. Stroud there at Ohio State, number 2, and a lot of it's going to depend on these games coming up, how they perform on the field in these big games. And but I think the media, they really like Hooker. I think. How could you not like this young man? He's a Christian. He wears it on his sleeve. I heard today one of my friends was telling me, like before the games, he does devotionals with his
that's good.
with his quarterbacks on the team and maybe some other players.
Right.
That's what they do before the game. They do devotionals.
That is nice.
So he's Hendon Hooker, outstanding young man on and off the field. And Tennessee certainly deserves a Heisman. I think we've had 4 runner-ups.
Yes, we have. I mean, near misses, and Majors and Manning in particular in the so-called modern era, and then Larcella and somebody else back.
Schuler.
Schuler runner-up. Schuler probably was truly second, but I thought the other 3 were sort of robbed. But
yeah, Schuler was even runner-up to Charlie Ward.
Yeah.
And Schuler even said, Charlie deserved it. And,
exactly.
Heath got runner-up and went on to the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
Played for Fannon's Redskins.
And I'm going to say it, and they can say what they want to. Washington Redskins, Washington Redskins, Washington Redskins.
That's right.
And whatever they want to be to other people, they're still the Redskins to me.
Or the Washington Commodores now. Commandos
or Commanders or something crazy. That's crazy stuff.
The Vikings play them this Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you and Fannin can talk about that.
Right, yeah. Okay, we got about 5 or 6 minutes left in the show. Let's make our picks. Walter, I Last week I got you by one game again.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And I got a sizable advantage.
Yeah, just don't tell anybody.
But it's hard to believe.
I'm actually not doing that bad. You're just doing that good.
I think you beat me in that week one. That's the only week you beat me, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Lord.
That's hard to believe, ain't it? But, yeah, we start all over here in the playoffs now. We start with the playoff record, and
we'll
have it, and then we'll have a overall as well. But
I think we've got more than 20 games on this thing. But
yeah, we do.
And I added
we got 23, I think, 23 games.
Yeah, I added 2. I added Morristown East and Maryville and Ottawa and Powell.
Yeah, I figure those were gimme wins, so
that's true.
I didn't put those in. But we'll start with Oakdale at Cloudland. As I mentioned, Cloudland defeated Oakdale last year in the second round, 60-16. I'm going to take Oakdale to go on the road and get a win.
Well, we're already different on this. I picked Cloudland.
Okay, that's good. Different is good. Cosby at Oliver Springs.
4-6 Cosby, 5-5 Oliver Springs. Oliver Springs.
I'll take the Bobcats. North Green and Coalfield. Coalfield, no problem at the Yellow Jacket nest.
Probably going to be 68-3.
Last year it was 58-0. So.
Yeah, it'll be more like that.
Go up to 2A. Oneida 4-6 at Hampton 8-2. Hampton they were number 1. They lost to Daniel Boone last week. I haven't seen the rankings, but
they'd have to still be up there
because they're still up pretty high.
Hampton definitely.
I'll take Hampton as well. Rockwood 6-4 at South Green, 5-5. Rockwood. I'll take the Tigers to get some payback at South Green from those 2 playoff losses they had in 2019 and 2020.
I was going back and forth on that, but I'm going to go with Rockwood also.
Okay. Austin East at Chucky Doak.
Chucky Doak and Austin East is apparently getting some better, but Chucky Doak's right at it. So.
I'll take Chucky Doak as well. They're 9-1. Going to be 10-1.
Yeah, for sure.
Unicoi County 8-2 at Gatlinburg Pittman, 9-1. Gatlinburg Pittman ranked in the top 5 of 3A. They might have, it seemed like were they number 2? Were they behind Alcoa?
I think so.
So I'm going to take Gatlinburg Pittman at home.
Yeah, definitely Gatlinburg Pittman.
Pigeon Forge 5-5 at West Green, 8-2.
I've got what I call an upset special, Pigeon Forge.
I'll take Pigeon Forge as well. Cannon County, don't know much about them. 4-6 at Loudon, 6-4. Give me the Redskins.
Yeah, give me Loudon as well.
Fulton traveling to Greenville.
Well, Fulton is reasonably capable, but Greenville's got all the guns. Greenville.
I'll go with Greenville as well. Granger at Gibbs. I like the Eagles this year. They can score a lot of points, have a good quarterback there in Palmer. I like the Eagles.
Yeah, Gibbs over Granger.
Where are they playing this game at?
At Fulton High School.
Okay, it's at Fulton. Okay.
Yeah. They were going to possibly go to Carson Newman, but they couldn't get it.
All right, we got 2 minutes. Let's run through these. Carter at Elizabethton, Walter.
Elizabeth, but that'll be a good one.
I'll take Elizabethton at home as well. Seymour, Anderson County. Give me Anderson County.
Anderson County.
Hickson at Stone Memorial.
Stone Memorial.
Stone Memorial go 10-1. Halls at Daniel Boone. Give me Daniel Boone, undefeated.
It won't be David Crockett. It'll be Daniel Boone. So.
Tennessee High at Central.
Knoxville Central.
Take the Bobcats. Sevier County at Moe West. I got to go with Moe West at home, and Sevier County seems to be fading.
Falling apart. Morristown West.
Carnes 7-3 at Walker Valley.
Carnes.
I'll take Carnes and Deshaun Bishop as well. Ray County 2-8 at Oak Ridge. Give me the Wildcats.
Yes.
Roll Wildcats, roll. Campbell County 5-5 at McMinn County.
McMinn County.
I'll take the Cherokees. Bradley Central at Science Hill. Give me the Hilltoppers.
Give me the Hilltoppers as well.
Jeff County at Farragut.
Farragut.
I'll take Farragut. And Bearden at DB. I'm going to take, you got Bearden, I got Dobbins Bennett.
Okay, well.
All right. First and last are different. So we thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you for our call. And get out and watch a playoff game and go Vols.
Go Vols, be continuing #1 after Georgia Saturday.
For Chandler in the back, for Walter Stair, I'm John Williams. See you next week on Locker Room Chat.